Train by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Well, I get to talking, man, and like so many people have such good information. Like the guy that was just on, he left right before you got here, but he's one of the guys that hosts our open mic, a musician, and we basically talked about his trip back to Venezuela because it's where he's from. He's from Venezuela, and how he got trapped in the country. Because, you know, it's like they won't let you out of the country if you don't have like the correct permits and stuff. Even though he had an American passport, they still wouldn't let him out of the country because he's Venezuelan and Venezuela, I guess, operates that way. I don't know. Would you have any issue if you went home to see your family getting back out of the country?
Right now, I do have issue. Right, I'm not sure if I leave the country, I would be able to like back in the US.
Back in the US, they wouldn't let you in?
Yeah, because they have a huge policy with immigration people right now. So even though I'm legal, everything is right, they can find any kind of reason. For example, I'm having a podcast with you. They can use that as a reason to not let me re-enter.
Yeah, I did hear that if we say something, the wrong thing, they can hold that against you, which is fucking insane, man. Yeah,
don't worry. I'll be more conservative. Like I'm going to give my answers, but I'm going to keep them in such a way it doesn't harm me anyway. Like
I think that, and this may be controversial. And so like some of the stuff that I guess what I think is that if you're an academic, then you should be allowed to speak on whatever subject you want to speak on, because it means that you actually have knowledge in these subjects. And like, if we're taking a voice away from academics, then we're hurting the entire system that we live in.
I mean, that used to be the case previously, but you know, it's like depending on, not always. The world still believes in that. Academics are still able to say, but sometimes it becomes a little critical. For example, in our case, the recent administrative change has become an issue. So, and there is another thing, the fear. So even if like they might not be targeting everyone, they might not be going after everyone, but the fear it creates from one incident that it stays in front of everyone. For example, nothing happened to me yet, or my colleagues, or most of the people I know. It happened to a particular set of people who are involved in some things beyond academics, to be honest.
Like what do you mean?
Like maybe some kind of protest or those things. Not all the academicians do that. So they were the people who were like mainly targeted or mainly accused and given a reason to leave or not re-enter the country. But that doesn't mean they are after everyone. But the fear is still inside everyone.
Yeah, they used the same tactics whenever the COVID thing happened, where if a business still wanted to open, rather than let the business open, what they would do is they would publicly shame the person. So they would send police officers to the business to make the person close, but they would also send TV cameras there. So they would film you getting shut down or arrested by the police officers to instill fear in the public. So it's all a game plan.
Yeah, so that not only you, the next generation of you will be bringing that fear in their genetics.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. Like, I get controlling the masses, because if you just let people run crazy, like none of this would work. Like this only works because we're an organized group. But there comes a point where you almost get too organized. The control becomes too much. And it's kind of like what we were talking about last night with the whole, like them diverting funds to other things. Like, are they diverting, or are these control mechanisms because of something else that's occurring that we just don't know about? Or is it just all about control?
You're talking about the diversion project, right?
Well, I'm talking about everything, but I'm saying that's a good example that we can use. So the last time that Asif was on, we were talking about the coastal restoration project, and that's recently been canceled.
Terminated July 17th.
Yeah. And that's crazy to me that they're terminating this whenever we know that it's going to have catastrophic consequences, yet we're still doing it. That doesn't make any sense in my brain. It doesn't make any sense in his brain, a person that actually studies this shit. And he knows that it's happening all over the world. It's not just happening here. This was just one of the main places they were studying. So like, we know there's going to be drastic consequences. Why would we shut this down unless there's something else going on that people just don't know about? I don't know.
Okay, just to discuss this, we need to come from the very beginning where it started from. So as you know, from 2010, the Deepwater Horizon spill, the oil spill that happened in the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
So after that spill, they allocated a budget of $85 billion for the entire Gulf of Mexico region, or Gulf of America, if you say it now. So that any kind of long-term environmental impact that might have occurred throughout that oil spill, this fund is going to be used to recover that environmental damage. And as a part of that, Louisiana received $5 billion from that, which is going to be completely used for coastal restoration efforts in the environment. Out of that $5 billion, the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion Project received $2.26 billion back in 2016 after their approval, that this fund is going to use to create this diversion that will naturally create wetlands.
Okay. And just so people out there that are listening, what they do whenever they're creating these wetlands is they'll divert the river.
Yeah.
And then the river will put sediment down and build land up.
Yeah. So Mississippi is one of the biggest rivers in the world and the single most big river in US. So during the Mid-Barataria diversion, the estimation was like it's going to carry out 75,000 cubic foot of water, which is sediment laden. And this has enough volume and like enough velocity to bring that to the surrounding coastal wetlands. So as you know, the natural land building process, like I mentioned earlier also, that the river is going to come, it will keep flowing, it will have branches, and throughout those branches, it is going to like deposit sediment all over the banks and create lands.
Yeah.
But since humans are creating levees, that natural process is now disrupted. So what the scientists are now thinking, so we cannot do it artificially, because if you want to do it artificially, for example, using dredging or any other, it's going to cost way more. So why don't we just create a diversion and create the natural process, like at least mimic the natural process that's going to help build land around those rivers, around the Mississippi.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And that was the reason that they thought, okay, we do it. In that way, we still, even after like the big budget cut like that we get, like it's like $2.5 billion, even it's less than artificial processes. For example, if I give you an estimate, if you try to do the same amount of land building through dredging, it's going to cost you $6 billion, above $6 billion. While if you are using the natural process, it's causing you like less than half.
So why would they cancel this?
There are a couple of reasons. So for example, if you go fully logically, scientifically, and if you think long term, you are not going to find any reason. But the current administration change, the way they framed it in the state level, they have like implications of political, economical, and some legal consequences. So first, let's start with the like political consequences. So they framed it in such a way that if we create the diversion, because of that diversion, we know that right now we have a traditional cultural heritage of Cajun industry in Louisiana, which is like you cannot find anywhere else in the world. We have a big Cajun industry, which is not only related to economy, but also related to the livelihood of people and the traditional ongoing that we have in Louisiana. So in short term, what happens like that Cajun industry is built on the saline water surface. Oysters, shrimps, lobsters, then our famous, what do we call it? Crawfish.
Yeah.
Everything, they survive on a specific salinity of water. Now, if you create the sediment diversion, what will happen? It will introduce fresh water into those regions. So there is going to be a mixum of saline and fresh water. In that condition, the current oyster beds, which have been industrially produced in those regions, will not survive. That's true. They will not survive in that freshwater condition. So as a result, those industry, they need to reallocate those oyster beds from current places to a separate place where the diversion is not impacting it, which is a big issue because the industry does not want to do that. A lot of cost is related to that. A lot of hassle is related to that, to do that immediately.
Are these man-made oyster bays?
Yeah, man-made oyster beds. Because who product like economically, who product in a corporate environment, not like a general. So they create the environment separately for the oysters to breed, and then they collect them and then they sell them. That's how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is like on top of the oyster industry, we also have this like shrimp and crawfish, and which is a big thing in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
They are not like produced economically like that. They don't need specific beds, but the more fresh waters enters those regions, they are going to tend to migrate away from the inland. So the fishermen, they need to change their fishing grounds. From their traditional grounds, they have to go somewhere further, which they don't want to do it because they are not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
They have been practicing it for like 100 years. So that's another problem. As a just to give you some numerical like values, it has been like, the Plaquemine Parish.
Mm-hmm.
So Plaquemine Parish alone produces like 1/3 of Louisiana's entire Cajun industry, like oyster industry.
Mm-hmm.
But Plaquemine Parish would be the most affected by the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion. And it is estimated that their current oyster beds are going to be completely devastated because of this Mid-Barataria like project. As a result, their industry representatives, they filed a couple of claims that we cannot do it. Although in the Mid-Barataria project, they have allocated $400 million of budget for these industries which are going to be immediately affected by the diversion, so that they can use that fund to reallocate their industry. They can use their fund to mitigate their livelihoods.
Okay.
But they don't want to do it. They need stability. They're like, no, we have set up this for a long time. Now we don't want to get the hassle to, reallocate them. And we don't want to live with the uncertainty that can come. Because as a scientist, I'm talking about long term. Maybe I'm talking that maybe after 10 years, it's going to be stable again. You're going to have more lands. And after the lands, you're going to have again new saline beds where you can reproduce your oysters in those regions.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not sure, because it's a long term.
Mm-hmm.
It's uncertainty of 10 years. They don't want to take the uncertainty because they don't like it. Because when it comes about profit and money, 10 years uncertainty is a long uncertainty.
Well, 10 years in a human life is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is like, they have been said like, if the Cajun industry is destroyed, it's going to have a huge impact on the sentiment of the cultural sentiment of Louisiana. Because you see many tourists comes here. Many of the events that we held, that we organize is based on this Cajun industry. It's like if we do this, we might be suppressing the Cajun industry. That's how the administration has like framed it.
Yeah, they're framing it in an emotional way. It's emotional framing.
On top of that, they found out some flaws, and I'm not going to say it flaws. So in the initial phase, when the project administration, when the project management, they were about to planning for the project.
Mm-hmm.
So they overlooked some critical engineering aspects, which the US Army Corps has now revealed that they...
Such as?
The Clean Water Act. So they didn't do much research on that, or they intentionally withheld it.
What is that?
It's like when the fresh water is coming in those regions, how they're going to impact the water quality in the surrounding families, in the surrounding livelihoods, in the surrounding population.
Oh, it's what you're basically explaining.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that time it was overlooked and such, because it's not going to make a huge difference, because we are already living by the banks of Mississippi. So it's not going to change much. But now they have a reason like, okay, although you said it's not going to impact much, but you have no right to withhold it. You should still have done in 2022, when you did the initial planning, you should have included it in your reports. You should have included it in your experiments. So now they are using it as a weapon.
Right.
Against
Just like lawyers do.
Project.
That's what lawyers do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lawyers find the flaw in the paperwork and they get people off all the time. It's the same way they do with people that get arrested. Like if the cops don't file every little piece of paperwork exactly right, they can find a way to get the criminal off.
Yeah, so
but it's like, what are the long-term effects that this could have if we don't continue with coastal restoration?
First, I'm going to use the long-term like positives. So I'm going to try to support the idea, like whatever they are arguing in short term, that is okay. I to some extent agree with them, but in long term, they are wrong. For example, if you create more wetlands because if you go 200 years back, our ancestors, they used to have their fishing industry farther away from the land right now, because those lands are wasted. Those lands are lost, right? So right now, if you're doing 200 kilometers back from the coast, previously they used to do their farming or fisheries 200 kilometers further away from the inland, right?
Oh.
And now you have to do it because the land is not there.
Okay.
So it's nothing new. So going back to there is not going to create a problem. Secondly, in the long term, the reasons that you are giving, the oyster industry is going to be impacted, the shrimp industry is going to be impacted. In long term, they're going to be beneficial. Because if you create a natural environment and if you can create a stability between this freshwater and saline water environment, then for the long term, you're going to create more nursery of fisheries. You're going to create more habitat for other species too, like migratory birds, like dolphins. So you can create those environments in long term, and that will be more stable in terms of economy. And you are going to not only get advantage from the economy, you're going to get advantage from the wetlands also in terms of like storm surge protection, then blue carbon restorations, and like delta migration in those cases.
Okay.
So that's, I'm arguing against their point. Now, if I come, what will be the long-term benefit? So the major long-term benefit, how the plan was projected is like in next 10 years, the project was about like that. It was estimated that in the next 10 years, due to the Mid-Barataria Sediment Restoration Project, we are going to have about 5,000 acres of newly built land in the coast. And
in 10 years?
In next 10 years, in 1 decade. And which will reach up to almost 17,000 acres in next 50 years. That was the estimation. That is almost equivalent to 20 square miles.
Yeah.
And this 20 square miles brings about like $15 to $47 billion worth of benefit in terms of blue carbon restorations, flood protection, and creating new jobs in the coast. Because if those industries become bigger over time, after 50 years, you have more jobs after 50 years in those regions.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But now, if you like, it was like till 2023, the allocated budget was like $2.26 billion, of which we have already invested $618 million just to set up the project. We haven't started extracting the benefits yet. We are still was on the process to set up the entire project, right?
Right.
So that is lost. So now if you terminate in such a way, it's highly arguable to say that you are going to have any benefit from those 618 millions that you lost. So it's already lost. It's wasted.
Yeah.
We're not getting any benefit against that. On top of that, to compensate this big project, what you are saying that we terminated this, but we are coming with a new project, the Martile Grove project, which is the same project as a diversion, but in a smaller scale diversion, which is going to create not even 1/3 of the wetlands that was suggested in the Barataria. The Martile Grove was expected that it's going to create around 5,000 acres in next 50 years, which is like 1/10 of what we are going to get in the Mid-Barataria project.
So it's in a different area. That's what they're doing?
Yeah, it's in a different area, like very close to, Ironton industry.
No.
It's in Plaquemine Parish, near the Plaquemine Parish. It's the same way. They have a branch of river, which is not the main branch, but it's a small diversion.
But is it just to test and see if this works, or is it just
No, it was actually proposed during the Barataria project planning. During that time, the Martile Grove project was proposed that we don't do such a big one. We do a small one as a test. But the researchers and the administration, they argued in the fact that Martile Grove is good. It's a diversion. It's going to create wetlands, but it will never get the benefits because, like I said, the amount of land that will create in 50 years will not be able to keep pace with the current sea level and the subsidence. So even if you do a project that cannot keep up for the next 50 years, what is the point of investing in that project?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
The Mid-Barataria, even if like doesn't matter how extreme the conditions get, it was set up in such a way that it's still going to extract a lot of benefit even under the condition of high sea level rises.
See, and this is why I was saying with my point is that it doesn't seem logical at all to cancel that project. Like it seems like from a logical standpoint, you'd want to keep this project going. And that's why I said maybe there's something else going on that we don't know about where they're trying to divert funds.
First of all, this fund doesn't directly like
Where does
affect.
the money go? Like if they're not going to use
This
it?
is a like settlement fund. It stays.
Yeah.
Either you use it for Mid-Barataria project or you use it for any compensation for any environmental project in Louisiana. You cannot use it for any other like in the like to save humans or do any project that is inside the
It
city. You
has to be
cannot do
used
that.
for that area.
It has to be used for environmental protection, right?
Mhm.
But that's the thing. So the government, what they are saying that we have already, so out of $5 billion of Deep Horizon Oil Settlement Fund, if we use $3 billion only in Mid-Barataria, then we are only left with $2 billion for all the other small project for the next couple of decades. So the government, they don't feel like it's a sustainable way. They feel like rather than doing that, we are not going to invest that much money in one project. We are going to do a lot of micro projects where we are going to settle like millions of dollars. For example, the Martile Grove, it was only worth of like $278 million
Mhm.
compared to $3 billion of Mid-Barataria.
Right.
So that whatever is left, they can use it for other projects. For example, migration of like flood risk areas or like flood affected communities or cyclone affected communities in the future. So they might use it for those purposes. But what you don't understand, why are you taking the chance? Why are you making the environment so vulnerable that you are sure that there is going to be a cyclone and you are going to use this fund to protect the areas? Why not take protective measures so that those cyclones does not impact as harshly as it will without the presence of any kind of wetlands, any kind of newly built lands?
Well, I think another big benefit that we have here in us doing this research and actually, employing these methods to build land is that it's going to help the rest of the world too. Because it's like you were saying in the first podcast that we did, the reason you came here to study was because we had this program going and your country, your home country is actually suffering from the same issues.
Everyone learns from US. And like I said before, why do Louisiana is the hub of coastal research.
Mhm.
They started long before when any other country even knew. They started in the late 1950s. We started in the coastal industry to do research in these areas. That's why we learn from here. That's why we come here. And this Mid-Barataria project was the single most biggest project, not alone in let alone in US, but one of the biggest in the entire world.
Yeah.
That was by default suggesting, science-driven decision-making to protect coastal wetlands, which is like huge in terms of values, sentimental values, research values, economic values, any way you see it. Now in the middle of the project, canceling in such a way, I feel it's I don't know. I feel like it's a very big threat to science. It shows like how vulnerable science still is under volatile politics or political instability.
Yeah.
So that means like you can build something for years after billions of dollars invest in research, and then due to a sudden administrative change or policy change, you don't have any protection against it. Those can go in null.
Yeah. Like how does a society get ahead in that case? If every 4 years you change administration and then you're constantly canceling projects that were just getting off the ground, it doesn't make any sense. Like humanity's not going to get ahead that way.
We need to build a strong policy protection. Like we should have some protection under our policy, the existing policies, that this kind of big projects, which are like developed for long term, not short term. Because like I said, Barataria was like a 50-year project, right? So it was built for long-term project. So you cannot just decide to terminate it in its second year of running without thinking of the consequences, the economical loss that we're going to have, and also thinking of the bright side of the coin, the future that it holds for us.
Was it canceled on a federal level or is that a state thing?
It's a complicated for both. In the state level, it was more because of the legislations that I said.
Okay.
The legal actions. In the federal level, the only hit it got, it's like from two sides. One is from the Army Corps of Engineers. They find allegations against the project.
Mm-hmm.
And another is from our newly administrative governor.
So that's why I was asking if like the administration did have something, the new administration that's in did have something to do with it, or was it like a state?
Up until, it's a politics plays a big role here. Look, the work for the project started on August 23.
Okay.
The first allegation came from the Oyster Task Force in the Plaquemine Parish, and it was under the Environmental Protection Policy Act and Endangered Species Act. Till that time, no other direct hit from the government or the federal agency came. The federal agency strike came immediately after the change of our new governor in January 2025. So he became a very vocal opponent of this project. And in the next 3 months, he framed it in different ways, tried to connect it with sentiment, connected with economical loss. But all the things he have been connecting this, the termination in support of this termination was short term, was only going to be like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year term impacts.
We need someone out there to go through and see how much money the oyster companies donated to him during that time.
That's gonna be a like confidential, highly confidential thing.
Well, according to politics, that shouldn't be confidential. Like, you should be able to pull up all this. But I mean, that's the way I look at politics these days. It's like, how much fucking money did one side pay the other one to vote this way? That's kind of the way it all is, it seems like.
Definitely, there are some benefits, like for them, their personal interests are there. Definitely, there is always some personal interest when you're talking about politics.
Right.
But what I feel like, people who made these decisions, people who are supporting decisions, like I said before to you, Kyle, like they are only thinking very short term.
Mm-hmm.
Their thinking is very volatile and it is limited within the political frame. Like, we are going to be in power for next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
How do we, like, all our thinking are limited within this 4 years of time frame.
Right.
He's not thinking about like is being or is staying in power for next 50 years, right? Yeah. So that's why he's taking decisions which are also not long-term and not sustainable.
It's a real problem that we have right now. The fact that the fact there's no mechanism built in that'll keep these long-term projects going during a new administration. Like, I understand the arguments that you're giving, and yeah, they sound bad, if you're working in the oyster industry. But at the same time, like, these people should even be able to see long-term the effects that it could have, the positive things.
I mean, people can think long-term only when they have stability. If you see most of those industry, the big industry ones, like who are in charge of the industry, they have the stability. But most of the people who are generating their livelihood, like small fishermen, the regular community who are surviving on the fisheries, like exchange or selling, So they cannot think that long term because their life is limited to 70 years and they are like, we are already having so much problem in our life. Forget about that. Let's first meet our daily needs first.
So is there a way to supplement these people to get them on board?
I mean, the project already had a mitigation fund for them. The project was committed to support them.
Then was it not explained to them well enough or something?
Like, you cannot go to every single household and explain to them. It's their job to find it out. So it was mentioned that any person in the Ironton industry and also in the Plaquemine parish, any community who's going to be impacted, whether it's the entire industry or whether it's a single livelihood, the fund of 400 million is going to be directly contributing to those people or to those industries. It was mentioned. So I don't see any reason for them to be.
Well, you're talking about Americans here. Okay. Let me tell you how they operate. Whenever you tell an American to go find something out, they're going to be like, nah, I don't want anything to change. So when you said they have to go seek the money, no one wants to fucking do that. They'd rather just do their own job. But if like people made it easy for them to be like, yeah, this is going to affect me, but hang on, the government's got a fund set up and they'll start paying me right off the bat, then deal, done. The problem is anything that's too hard for Americans, they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, but you have to deal with it, especially in a place like Louisiana.
But they don't have to deal with it because now you can see they're canceling the whole project.
I mean, I don't understand one thing. How can you do that? Because Louisiana experienced the devastation of Katrina firsthand. They saw like whatever we have built for the last 20 years has been like destroyed in just moment, in weeks, just by one big storm surge.
Dude, I say that shit all the time. When they put these wooden power poles back up, I'm like, why the fuck are we putting up wooden poles when we could put up metal poles?
Yeah.
Like, it makes more sense and why are we building houses in boxes whenever we know that hurricanes are going to come through? They should be round houses.
But they don't do metal pole. That's a different story. That depends on like the accidental things, because if you do these power poles with metals, you have high risk. But like you said, like they can do it concrete, more solid, more things like.
Well, I'm just saying, even the houses.
Yeah.
Like, what happens whenever wind hits a flat surface? It fucking folds the flat surface in. But if wind hits a round surface, it's going to blow around it. Like, it only makes sense to build houses in a place with hurricanes with rounded corners.
Those are sustainable green design you are talking about. And to reach this economy, especially in Louisiana, where it's like one of the poorest economy in the entire country, I think it will take more time.
Well, then let it all keep blowing down.
Yeah, we need more investment. Let alone we cannot manage our current investment.
But I mean, that's a problem too, is that everything that we talk about requires money. Money. That's what we all talk about. It's money. Whenever the true devastation is the fact that the coast is going away.
Yeah, that's very funny in US, where we have so many billionaires. Individual people are having thousands of billions of dollars in their pocket, and we are saying money is the problem. And every time we are bringing like just $2 billion, like one Elon Musk can fund $2 billion for a project without any issue, right? What are they contributing to this society? Only in the.
Well, I mean, he's contributing a lot, but I mean,
like I'm just mentioning
the money
general.
sitting in an account's not contributing shit.
Yeah, so money is never the problem. It's like.
But that's the issue that we're having though. We're canceling things because money's the issue. Like, why not just go on out and restore the coast?
We are using that as an excuse, even if it's not an issue.
Yeah.
Even if that's not an issue, because you can definitely use that, because all the small projects that were about to compensate Mid-Barataria project, the total benefit that they are gonna bring long term, it's less alone Mid-Barataria is about to bring, right? But still you are terminating it. So definitely it's not about money. It's not about long-term benefit. There is something inherent or something hidden in between those decisions that is out of our knowledge at this moment.
It's probably aliens.
Aliens? Probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
Humans, like aliens are not going to have anything to do with humans.
You think they're just going to wipe us out?
No, I feel like they are also afraid of us. We are going to wipe us.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, humans are the only species in the world who can harm their own species without a reason.
It's crazy, yeah. But what if we're not the same species? What was it? And this is going to way off topic from what we were talking about, but I've heard of divergent evolution. I think, maybe it's convergent evolution. It's one of the two. But it basically states that you have two species, or you have a species that's evolving, right? And at one point in the evolution, the species like branches off, but they still look very similar. So they still survive in the same environment as each other, but they're two totally different species at this point.
Yeah. For example, take the modern day crocodile, alligator.
Yeah.
So they are same species, came from the same genetics, but they adopted.
So what if humans are the same way? Like, what if there's a
humans
subset?
Are same way. Like, if you even see, like, not even like major distinction, but if you look at different parts of the world, look at like a guy from Africa, a guy from US, a guy from Bangladesh, different parts of the world. Even if you see minor changes, this is all like adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
I have adapted like this because of the environment of my country. You adapted like this because of the weather and climate of this.
Then why can't you handle the heat, bro?
Like this is
isn't this a heat adaptation?
This is way above what we are used to. Like Louisiana is crazy. It doesn't like fit into any scientific explanation.
Yeah, it's really sad what they're doing though, man. Like, I hate that. And like, what does this actually mean for you and the people that are working in your program?
We feel like I said, like we feel very vulnerable because of this kind of decisions, because we have been like investing our mind, our efforts, like we are working day and nights to contribute to this kind of knowledge that are helping the policymakers to create this kind of projects, this kind of initiatives that's going to bring long-term benefit to the humankind, to the world, to the people of this country, this world. But when we see that all those efforts, all those long nights of work, hard work goes in vain just because some people decided overnight that we just don't want it without a reason, then we feel very vulnerable as a representative of a scientific community. Mm-hmm. We feel very threatened at the same time because, like, you know, it also affects us financially because like I was like talking to you last night that not only the projects, but all the climate scientists in this country right now, we are facing budget limitations that were like for research. If, as you see, the amount of budget we used to get last year during the previous administration, which has been cut off. The budget of National Science Foundation has been cut off. The budget of National Health Institute has been cut off. So if we don't get budget and because someone just decided that this knowledge is not worth it, or a group of people think like, rather than like putting all the money in this one like different kind of knowledge domain, we are going to put it into one or couple of single domains which are going to only benefit our own community or our own group of people who believes in the different kind of agenda as most of the scientists do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the cutting funding to research is kind of a big fuck you to your scientists. That's crazy to me that they're doing that. I can see, we were talking about this last night with them pumping more money into the oil industry, as opposed to the climate stuff. And I can see that if they're trying to boost the economic growth, that I can see that's because I think right now we're the way the dollar is, we're in a crisis stage with the US dollar.
The inflation?
Yes, with inflation. And I think right now they're trying to do everything they can just to boost the economy, to actually keep the dollar afloat, which I don't see it happening. I mean, our national debt just keeps going up more and more because of the shit we spend money on. But this all comes back to money, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we want the world to be a better place, we need to be funding scientific research and funding projects like you're working on. We can't always think about money, which is a man-made concept.
Like, not everyone, like I said, like it's only thought by a particular group of people.
But it's like we're living in this. We're not living in objective reality anymore because money's fucking made up. Okay, it's just a medium for exchange is all it is. So that's all money is. But whenever we let that dictate our actions, we're not living in objective reality. The objective reality is the coast is declining, and we have people that are studying this stuff. We have people that are trying to work on these problems. Yet we're cutting this man-made, medium of exchange.
Yeah, so like they can deal it in a better way rather than like just going after or canceling funds or like that. Like we can deal it in a better way. For example, if the way I think this is like, you can increase a certain amount of funding in the oil industry. That's going to be okay. Whatever profit you make from that funding, you can use that profit again back to the climate funding or other environmental funding. So that in that way, it's going to be a sustainable redistribution. But
are they going to do that?
No, because all the money are going to their pockets.
Right. They just want to pad their own pockets. For what reason? I have no idea. I was telling Manny on the last podcast we're doing that I think that's a mental illness, just like wanting more and more and more.
Yeah,
it's like when there's a guy sleeping on the fucking sidewalk, you want to have more zeros on your bank account. It's like, what is that?
Money is like addiction. Like it's even bigger addiction than our alcohol or any kind of cocaine or anything you take. Yeah. Money is like, no matter how much you earn, you are not satisfied.
Yeah.
And the more you earn, the more your aspiration to earn more becomes like more like, how am I going to say in a good word? It becomes more intense for you. And you forget about world, you forget about everything. You don't have any value left that time. Only thing you are left with the urge or with the aspirations to get more and use it. But the thing is, before you die, you are never able to use it properly because you were busy earning those money. You never had the proper time to use those money. Because if people thought like that, I don't think in this world, not a single human being needs beyond couple of millions. No matter how highly ravishing lifestyle you want, beyond a few millions, you don't need much money to live a healthy, happier life. So whatever you are earning above that, you can use that for the sake of humankind. You can use that for the sake of this world, for the sake of people. But I don't know what happens to those people. I don't know because I'm not a millionaire. I don't have a lot of money. Maybe I'll become like one of them. Who knows? But I don't know what happens that they really lack a sense of moral value as soon as they get past a certain threshold of wealth.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it is that. I think that it just takes that person to make that, because you're having in order to get that much money, accrue that much wealth, you have to like fuck over quite a few people to get there, or you just have to take things from people, because like money, in order to make money, you have to either provide a value or you have to provide a service. And if you're providing an overinflated service, kind of like the guy who bought insulin. And then as soon as he bought insulin, he jacked the price up to like 1,000x what it was. It's like, that's fucking insane to me. Why didn't we take this guy, put him on national TV and wrap a rope around his neck? He should
be put in jail, because that's...
No. He should be put on national TV. We put a rope around his neck and just pull it until he releases the price.
Agree. And that's interesting. I just remember something that I read, that some university researchers from University of Florida or somewhere, they just invented something that can actually be used for like long-term cancer remediation. Cancer, like we didn't have any. Mm-hmm. So if that comes as a vaccine, rather than providing it to the entire world in a reasonable price or in a reasonable way, they're going to start business with it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And they're going to make it a privilege that only the wealthy people, or at least in the beginning, only the wealthy people are going to have access to it.
Well, okay. So let's think about it this way. If you invented a drug that cured cancer overnight, you know how many industries you would shut down? Like, this is what's crazy is we have this entire economy that's propped up on people dying. And it's not just people dying that it's propped up on. It's propped up on these it's propped up on sucking people dry while they die. So like if you have cancer, you're going to go for all the cancer drugs and things like that.
The medical stuff.
Yeah. And it's just going to basically like keep you alive long enough to suck all your funds out until you can't afford the, what are they, the chemo or the radiation?
Yeah.
Like that's so insane that people are still doing that. That you can look online and see that chemotherapy does not work. It does not work. It's going to kill you and it's going to be bad while you're dying.
Yeah. The foundation is wrong, right? Like you said, the foundation of, like, for example, take US. This is my biggest complaint after I came to US, especially the healthcare. Mm-hmm. Like a first world country like this, how can you develop a medical system such a way that doesn't matter how much you are earning, if one thing goes wrong in your body, you can lose it all in a second.
Yeah.
You can be bankrupt, like your entire generation can be bankrupt due to that, like to get the treatment. But the norm should be opposite, right? It should be like, the systems are so easily accessible for everyone and in such a cheaper price or reasonable price that everyone can have good health benefit, good insurance, and like nobody has to think about that. What would happen if I have a disease? Nobody should. But right now it's like you said, doesn't matter what kind of vaccine we earn. It's going to benefit the insurance companies. It's going to benefit the medical companies. It's going to benefit the hospital owners.
Pharmaceutical companies. Like it's just, and there's really no solution for it, but to let it all fall down and then try to rebuild.
It's impossible to rebuild. We are in a situation that rebuilding is not even an option.
Okay. So if it all crashes, then what?
Then we might have a chance of rebuilding.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's all going to crash inevitably. It's not a sustainable system. Like none of this is. What we're doing to the environment is not sustainable. What we're doing to money is not sustainable. Like the way we're living life is not sustainable. So either there's going to be a crash or everything's going to go away.
That's not going to harm the people who are behind it, right? For example, right now, if there is a big cyclone hits Louisiana, you're going to lose your bar, you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose your money, everything. I'm going to lose everything. Mm-hmm. But the guy who has a lot of industry in the coast, who has already made billions of dollars of profit, he's living somewhere else. He might have some temporary loss, but in the long time, he's not going to be bankrupt.
What if the dollar crashed?
Doesn't matter. Like they have earned enough. Some of those people have earned enough they made a plan like that no matter what happens, like they are thinking right now is like only God can put me down right now. Nobody else. And that may be one of the motivation why they are always after more money, just for the sense of security.
Yeah. I had a buddy that said that to me one time. He basically said, I want to make so much money that if I have a problem, I can just throw money at it until it goes away. And I was like, dude, that's like I get it, but that's such a fucked up way to think about things. And that's exactly how the world works.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy that drove his Jeep into Dat Dog a few years ago, but the guy's worth a few $1 billion. So what did he do? That all went away. Like, can you imagine if you drove your Jeep into Dat Dog? Like you would be in jail forever. But this guy had enough money that
he was in jail. He wasn't in jail.
No, didn't even go to jail.
What the hell?
He drove his Jeep into Dat Dog. And listen to this. He had so many drugs in the Jeep because he's passed out one night and drove his Jeep into Dat Dog. So many drugs in the Jeep that he walked down to the music studio that we had and paid someone like 10 grand to go and get the drugs out of the Jeep. So I have this all on camera, all security.
How do they get away with this? Like, especially in US.
So the next day I was down here and because after it happened that night, I came and I pulled all the security footage just in case the cops wanted the security footage. And the next day, the owner of Dat Dog was over there and he walked over and he was chatting with me. And he's asking me about the guy who did it. I know the guy who did it. And I was like, he knew the guy that did it. He's like, yeah, this guy right here. He's like talking to me about him. He's like, he's got a lot of money, right? And I was like, he does. And I knew right off the bat that he's going to try to just take him for money. So I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure he probably paid that guy like 200 grand and they didn't press charges or anything.
This is like, you see, corruption is every
It's everywhere, dude.
part of the society.
Yeah.
And especially like that is creating more. You see the biggest inequity. Here I am talking that I have to be careful whatever I'm saying.
Right.
Because that can put me behind the bars.
Yeah, definitely protect yourself.
On the other hand, people are doing this kind of things and still walking freely without any kind of fear or any kind of issue.
It's crazy.
So
that's I don't know if the rest of the world operates this way, but this is definitely the way America operates. And like I said, it's not sustainable. It's only a matter of time before this all comes crumbling down.
Maybe sometimes I feel like our people deserve a big fall, and that's the only way they can learn. For example, right now, I don't expect this to happen, but I feel like people like what we started our topic on, like the Mid-Barataria project.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't understand its importance right now. Like every 2.7 miles of wetlands can reduce your coastal storm surge height by 1 foot.
I didn't know that.
So if you have like in length from inland to the coast, if you have 2.7 miles of wetlands,
mm-hmm.
and if you have a normal surge that is originated at like 5 foot, by the time it passes that 2.7 miles of wetlands, it's going to become 4 foot. So that means the more wetland you have, the more flood protection natural barrier you are creating.
Well, you would think that those people that live in Plaquemine Parish would want that then, right?
Yeah, that's not it. They want that and that's better for them. What is the point of having an industry that is uncertain to this kind of natural extreme threats?
Right.
So at least at current state where we are having the high frequency of so much environmental incidents, so many extreme weather events, so many
it is getting
frequent,
crazy.
So many frequent storms and cyclones. At this time, at least you should not think like an amateur. You should have some integrity to understand the complications, understand the long-term implication of this kind of situation, and should actually support some long-term projects or some long-term initiatives that we have taken,
Yeah, but who are you talking about? If you're talking about
like people, they
don't give a shit.
They are the ones who filed. For example, like I said, in November 23, the first allegation against the project came from the people, not from the administration. Came from the people who were farming oysters. They made a task force and they did the thing.
I'm just saying, I don't think that people have the wherewithal to think long term anymore. I think that all they're thinking is like the next day.
Yeah.
I think it's like if you look at a human body, do you think that the average red blood cell thinks about the future?
No.
No,
only immediate.
That's what I'm saying. I think that the people that we're talking about here, like the average red blood cells of the human body or the organism that is the earth.
I also feel like another thing is like, to be honest, like I can relate it with myself. Like even maybe you can also relate. When we were young,
okay,
we also didn't think about these things, right?
Right.
We knew I heard so much news in the television. I'm like, okay, I heard it, but it didn't create a sense of value inside me. But now it does. So over time we learn. So I think like, isn't there anyone in every family, there is one person who can actually has those values and understand this criticality. We don't need much. We need only one person in every family who can understand this, who have the knowledge, who can actually, on behalf of the entire family, talk in support of this kind of things.
So I was having this conversation with a friend of mine who works in the medical field. And we were basically talking about how whenever the COVID vaccines came out, my family all listened to me and they didn't get the COVID vaccines because I'm against the vaccines, obviously. But they listened to me and didn't get them. But she was saying that even though she has a medical degree and she was telling her family, do not get these, that they still went and got them and got all their boosters and everything. So I don't think that that's even the case. I think that a lot of times people are just so brainwashed with whatever media they're consuming that they won't even listen to the reasonable family member.
I can understand that. Same happened to me. We take vaccines, but like I said, it's not, nobody told us. We are afraid. The government created the afraid that if you don't take it, there is a chance of high death because all the surrounding countries, they're having highly mortality.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that now that you know the government really doesn't give a shit about you? Because they just canceled they canceled this entire project that would literally benefit all Americans.
I mean, I wish I could care less about the government. Like I could just ignore them fully and I could only do good for the people, but that's not how the world works. No matter how much I try to do that, there will always be restrictions. There will always be limitations. So as a human being, as a researcher, as a person who have his own responsibility, who feels the responsibility towards the community, all we can do is make efforts to raise our voices so that at least a part of the group of people hears us and they do some of the mitigatory implementations that we suggest. That maybe you are not going to bring back the project, but you can, if you are doing the Martile Grove project, you can do couple of you can increase the width and breadth of the project so that we come to a position, at least it's going to be a equal balance with the natural force, right? But
yeah. So what you're saying is right now, it's just going to be a waste of money and time.
Yeah. It's going to be a waste of money because if you do Martile Grove project, I don't think it's going to bring any long-term benefit. I don't even, there's going to be complete waste of money. All 618 millions in that project, I feel like it's going to go, not 600, 278 millions. I think it's going to go underwater.
Yeah. What do we call that? There's a term for that where it was kind of like the masks thing. Like even when it was proven that the masks weren't working when COVID thing happened,
the recovery?
That people still wore them. No, I'm talking about there's like a term for this where you're, what do they call? They call it security theater. So like at the airports, they say that a lot of the times the security stuff doesn't actually work, but it makes people feel like they're at ease.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's probably what the Martile Grove project is.
Yeah, it's just a compensation.
It's just putting people at ease. Like we're doing something here, but they're not actually doing anything.
It's like a consolation prize. If you go to a competition, you don't become first, but everyone who didn't become first, they get a little prize. You guys are also important. I
didn't think we would scale up the security theater to climate change. You know, here's the thing about saying the word climate change is a lot of people look at as soon as they hear climate change, they automatically think icebergs.
That's the wrong idea. Like I was telling you right now.
Well, yeah, it's so much more to it, right?
Yes, that's huge. That's a huge domain. It's like connected to everything. It's not only climate change. People made it completely based on, increase of carbon dioxide, increase of temperature, and some other related issues like sea level rise and melting of iceberg. That's not only the case. For example, if your temperature is increasing, your weather, your long-term climate is also having effect on your regional weather. If the temperature is increasing in a place where you need tropical environment, what will happen? You're going to have long-term, how do you call it? Drought.
Yeah.
Right? That drought is going to impact your food production. That is going to impact your economy. That is going to impact your livelihood. So it's not about, increasing temperature and melting of ice water, increasing temperature related to your agriculture, related to your food production. So many other reasons. Long-term, heat exposure can have a lot of human health demerits.
Well, I mean, dude, look at the floods that are in Texas right now. All these crazy floods and shit that are happening. That's crazy. And that's, you think that's a result of like the climate change and stuff?
That was more like first of all, definitely we knew that was coming. We knew that can happen. That's why we do the modeling. Every modeling gives you the range that what will happen after you surpass certain thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, people there who are in charge, they already knew it, they modeled it, but they never personally believed that this can happen.
Right.
As a result, they never took the preventive measures. What if it happens? They're like, nah, it's Texas, man. It's not like that critical. And yeah, this is a theoretical assumption. This is a theoretical scenario. Because as a scientist, we always think about theoretical scenario, and we conceive that what will happen if this happens. You have to believe in that. You cannot just let it go.
Right.
You cannot think like, no, that is just arbitrary. It can never happen. So those people, they thought that this kind of flood will never happen. It happened. One of the like biggest flood in the history, flash flood.
Yeah.
I never saw a flash flood like that.
Oh, it's crazy, dude.
And so many like economical loss, life loss happened just for the misunderstanding, or like for some people who didn't take their responsibility properly, or who didn't feel the necessity that they should consider all the possibilities in a particular situation.
But if it keeps going, man, like what is the end result here?
You are gonna see more of this devastation. If you check the number of natural disasters happened in last 5 years, and you compare it to the number of disasters happened in the late 1990s, you're gonna see the frequency is almost 2 to 3 times more.
Really?
Yeah. I just give you an example of Bangladesh. Bangladesh was a certain country where we used to see big cyclones in every 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Starting since 1980.
Okay.
As it passed 2005, after 2005, we use that frequency increase. Now every year we see at least 2 big cyclones. You can see the differentiation. It was like 1 in 2 years. Now it's like 2 in 1 year. So the frequency, it's not only the frequency, the intensity is also too much high right now. And it's happening all over the world. All the disasters, their intensity is increasing, their frequency is increasing. It is impacting more people. Still, I don't know how people can say that these are bullshit. These are just not happening.
Yeah, man, we're in this like, it's such an exciting time to be alive. Like just from an observer standpoint.
A first-hand observation?
Well, it's an exciting, yeah, because there's so much going on right now, and it's just like, it's like, where are we going to go next?
You like chaos, man.
I do. I fucking love the chaos. I was telling someone this the other day. Whenever the chaos happens, I feel like I move in it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. Like if you were alive 50 years ago, if we were having this conversation 50 years ago, would we be able to talk about things like this? Because like there's so much cool shit that's like converging on each other right now. It's like, will humanity figure it out? It's almost like we're in a movie.
If you need that much chaos, you should not like wait to experience disaster. You should get a toxic girlfriend. You're going to see all the chaos in life.
Oh, we're going to go there now?
No meditation is going to help you in that point.
Yeah, we had some interesting conversations last night. Maybe we stick with science today.
Yeah, we should stick with science.
Yeah.
Let's. I have a question to you. Why do you think like we were discussing last time, I didn't get a hold of that guy that I told you who's in the oil industry. So I don't know, but let's discuss it since it's an important thing. So like I said, now immediately with the decrease in climate funding, there is a sudden surge in the funding in the oil industry, mostly under the banner of like investment in AI in oil industry.
Yeah. How what does that entail? How is AI going to help the oil industry?
It's like AI is going to help you model, because everything you know about the oil industry, the subsurface, most of those knowledge are modeling, because you don't see what is actually beneath the subsurface.
Right.
You just do some, depending on some parameters that you know, you may create models that gives you estimation, and based on those estimation, you proceed for your production. Now, since those estimations so far till now has been made by smart people, but we know that AI is becoming more smart in terms of like predicting, in terms of helping with models, in terms of generating codes. Maybe if you invest more in AI, you can develop more efficient codes. You can develop more efficient models that is going to give you a higher chance of recovery of your resources from beneath the surface.
Okay, I understand that, but I don't understand why they have to spend so much fucking money on it.
No,
Like
they're actually not investing money on AI. That's just the banner they're using.
Okay.
They are just trying to exploit more.
Right.
They are trying to recover more resource so that they can sell more, so that they can get more money. And then they can use it to their advantage of holding power.
Yeah, because whenever I'm thinking AI now, it's like I can go home and I can use ChatGPT to create a model that could do the same shit that they're doing, simulating the models.
Yeah.
And that's free. I did it all for free, or $20 a month, whatever I pay. But when it comes to spending millions of dollars on this shit, like I don't get it. It's got to be going in someone's pocket because AI it's like another entity that you can literally say, create this, and it does it.
Because you cannot directly do that now. Because when you are in a world where so much climate change happening, you are having COP meetings every year, you are having so many policies to do less emission in the world. If you go directly and you say that, okay, we are just investing more money to produce more oil, that's going to be counterproductive to all the initiatives. And you are going to have a lot of accusations and a lot of allegations from rest of the world. So that's why to hide that, what you have to do, you have to say, oh, we are not investing in oil production. We are investing in the technological advancement. That's going to help us sustain this. So in that way, we are going to produce oil, but we are going to produce it in a sustainable way that doesn't harm the environment.
So they're not actually building infrastructure. They're just padding their pockets full of money.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I would understand that, okay, I would agree that you are building infrastructure if you used your additional profit for the benefit of human, for the benefit of mankind. Which oil industry, even if they are making double profit this year, are they going to the poor community of their own country or any other country? Are they donating those money
Absolutely
to a certain significant export? No, they are using that money to make more oil, to produce more oil, to sell more, gain more benefit. So only that particular group of people are becoming rich. So they don't have any significant contribution to the other side of the societal norm.
Dude, it's such a huge problem. Like when you start diving in these rabbit holes like this, it's almost like, looking up at God going, would you just fucking glass this? Let's start over. Because it almost seems like the rabbit hole is so deep now that it's impossible to dig your way out of.
It does. It does. Sometimes I also feel like this shit that I'm doing, it's of no use. Like after this kind of thing that I see, like what is the benefit of doing? It's rather than I leave this research job, I just open a shop and try to selling some things, make some good profits. Like I'm going to earn more.
Yeah.
I'm going to earn more with less effort. Right now I'm making more effort, but for what purpose? If our knowledge is like nullified without a second thought.
Yeah. You're saying your hard work's not even being put to use.
No. And I'm also in the beginning phase. I'm thinking about the big communities who have been like a guy who is 70 years old and invested like 50 years in research to find a, beautiful plan for a government authority. And now they just nullify it. They're like, no, this is of no use. So then it feels hard. At least I have chance. I still have time. If I feel like at one point this is not going to work at all, I can still decide not to. But there are people who cannot go back, who are at the end of the road.
And they feel like they're all their effort's been wasted.
Yeah, they
a
feel
wasted
hopeless.
life. That's fucking sad.
It's the same as last time we said some personal agenda that you have been investing in a girlfriend for 1 year and then she give you a reason and break up with you, a bullshit reason, and you feel worthless. So same happens. It's like the administration, the government, the policymakers, they are ditching us. They are breaking up with us.
Yeah, when eventually you stop trying. Yeah, that's a sad place to be, man. If when people stop trying to better the world and just go, well, I'm just gonna fucking start making money because I see everyone else doing it. It seems to be working out for them. But that's why I said it's not sustainable. Like when you take people that want to work on big issues, intelligent people, and whenever they stop doing that, you're gonna collapse your entire society. If you don't have people advancing science, if you just have people trying to make money, there's no way the world's going to work out because you always need smart people that work on problems.
You always need smart people, and AI cannot replace people. They will always need human monitoring because if there is no human monitoring, at least someone needs to tell AI what to do, right? In the beginning, in the very first place, even if it becomes so advanced that it can do all it by itself, still we need smart people who can tackle them, who can monitor them, who can regulate them.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you remember the movie Terminator?
Yeah.
That will gonna happen. So you are always gonna need smart people.
Yeah.
And you should not try to replace your motivation of AI in current world should not be replacing human beings, but to make human beings more effective.
Dude, I read a creepy study on this. I might have actually told you about this already. But the study was basically studying how people use AI and if they're getting smarter or dumber by using it. And it's pretty crazy because they realized that people who are inquisitive and actually seek out information, who are already smart, essentially, are getting smarter by using AI. And people who aren't inquisitive and are just using AI to curb cut in their daily life, they're getting dumber.
Yeah, I agree fully. And I'm going to share a experience with you. You remember that meme that recently came, that a undergrad who just graduated, in his graduation ceremony, he's showing the laptop, open ChatGPT, and he's showing that all his project was done by ChatGPT. And he's showing it during his graduation day when they are filming it in the monitor. Now you can understand how fucking dumbass it makes him. That means you didn't invest anything. You didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
It's ChatGPT who made you pass that stage of life. But what will happen next? The people who are going to hire you, whether they're going to hire you, I highly doubt that. After saying that, now there are also people, especially scientists. Previously, how they are using it? Previously, to build a code script of 100 page, it used to take them 1 week to write that entire code.
Mm-hmm.
Now what they're using it, they're making automation using AI. That, okay, this is my primary code, this is the flow, this is what is going to happen. Why don't you build it for me? And AI is doing it in a couple of hours or even sometimes couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Which is saving 7 days or a week of his life. In that 7 days, he can invest in other domains of the research.
Yeah.
If you are a financial analyst, you can invest in other domains of your research. If you are a businessman, you can invest in other. For example, previously, every small business owners, they had to think about, building a brand name, building a brand logo, creating a website, then automating process for tracking the sales and everything. Now AI can do that on behalf of you.
Yeah.
So that you can use it smartly. You know how to use it and you use it smartly. Then you can just give those responsibilities to AI. And in the other hand, you can put time or you can invest your time on building networks, getting more fund for your business, meeting more people who are going to help you sell your product in other countries, in other areas of the country. That's how smart people are using it.
I use it for this bar. My assistant manager is an AI.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. If I have any issues that pop up that I can't deal with or that I don't want to deal with, I just tell it to handle it.
My younger brother, actually, he's trying to get into the YouTube industry,
Mm-hmm.
in the social media industry to create contents. And he asked, I'm not a YouTube guy, so I don't know much about it. I remember you showed me the
That's
clip,
another one that I
clip.
use. Oh, bro, dude, I probably have 10 different AIs that I use. So I'm using different ones for different things. But yes, the one that I use to cut the shorts up, where normally that would have taken me it'd be 4 days of editing to cut shorts out of a film or out of a long-term thing or long form content. Now I just put that long form content into Opus Clips. It's the AI program, and it chops it up. It's done in 10 minutes.
And it's also very good.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's literally you get 40 different clips that you can go and put music and stuff on. You can kind of refine the edits. It doesn't refine the edits that great, but you can go in and do that by yourself manually. But it takes so much, where it would have taken me 4 days, it's done in 15 minutes.
So you're saving so much time.
It's
that
incredible.
You can invest in yourself, establishing more in your life within that time, right?
Yeah.
So this is good. That's the thing. People need to understand the proper use. So we should not avoid it completely and we should not rely on it completely, but we should try to use it in our advantage, not in a negative way, but to make ourselves more, smart, to save our time and not to just, okay, AI is going to do it, I'm just going to sleep in the home. It doesn't work like that.
So with the study that I was telling you about, though, where they're studying smart people versus dumb people, there's no way to balance that. There's going to be a divide. There's going to be a dumber population and there's going to be a smarter population. That's also dangerous.
That's super dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to stop this.
I mean, like, I can understand. I just don't want to end up in the dumber group. I just want to end up in the smarter group.
Well, you're inquisitive. You're definitely going to end up in the smarter group.
But that creates more division in society.
Absolutely.
That creates more, challenges between the dumb group and the smart group in terms of finances, in terms of quality of life. Because, for example, now the guy who knows how to use an AI, just for an example, to produce better social media clips, and then he can earn more money compared to the guy who is not taking the advantage of AI. Then even if he is investing a lot of time and money, that is being wasted in his life, and he is still not satisfied. And it creates a higher division of high-end people and low-end people, and which is not good for the society at all.
And I think, once again, it's not sustainable.
Nope, definitely not. It's not sustainable, and it's going to create what you want, chaos. It's going to create more fightings, more wars. The more necessity is going to come, and people are going to be more out of control.
Maybe I came up with it.
I don't doubt it. I trust you.
I thrive.
Who's going to want a chaos with you? Not me.
I don't know, man. It's
I have a question to you now.
What you got?
So, do you think that at current rate, how AI is like advancing?
Okay.
So, in the next 10 years, is it going to replace researchers?
Oh,
at least the initial group of researchers.
I like this. So first of all, I'll say, because I really haven't thought about that. So I would like to say the things that I've thought about first. It's going to replace a lot of people's jobs, first of all, that do not think they're going to get replaced. One of my buddies works in logistics, and he ships things all across the world, and he doesn't think AI is going to take his job whatsoever. And I'm like, buddy, because he's never messed with AI, so he doesn't understand how quickly how rapid the rapid pace of like evolution that it's happening. I'm like, bro, you have maybe 5 years left, and then you'll be managing the AIs, but they're going to take your job because an AI can run logistics easy. That's kind of what they do. When it comes to researchers, I feel like there's always going to be a need for humans because humans have to go out in the field. AI can only, process the information that you give it, but it can't actually go out in the field and get the data. So I think we're always going to need human researchers, but I think that there's going to be more of a collaboration effort. And one of the cool things about it is I don't go out in the field. I don't do research that way, but I understand that AI has all the knowledge that we've given it. So now whenever I'm cross-referencing ideas, because a fun exercise I like to do is like take something that seems unrelated, like ice cream, and connect it with an octopus and just kind of see how those things connect. Those two are probably hard to discern. But if you do that with AI, man, there's just like so much knowledge that it has about both of these subjects that maybe it can find connections where I couldn't find connections. So I think that's what we're going to see with researchers is you're going to find something, you're going to be like, oh, this is cool. I wonder how this relates to this. And you go to AI and say, how do these things work together? And it's going to be able to show you how they work together. And you're going to go, oh, holy shit. So it's going to open up all these new solutions for problems that we didn't think existed, or that we didn't think had solutions.
Definitely. As a human being, that's as a researcher, I feel like that's a knowledge gap or limitation of me. Even if I'm good at environmental research, but sometimes like there are a lot of things. For example, when I'm doing this marsh research in the coast, I am mostly thinking from a physical perspective, like most of a physical research, but I'm not digging deep into the biochemical processes. That's the job of an ecologist.
Right.
But what if I can tap into the domain without having a degree or without doing this? What I'm doing right now, sometimes I don't know. I write from a biophysical perspective. Okay, so this is the general idea, how it's going to impact the sedimentation, how it's going to cause the biophysical production. But if I ask AI, so can you tell me what is going to be the biological impact? Then AI is telling me, okay, sediment is a big thing, we understand, but there are species of marshes who can actually withstand saline water.
Yeah.
Who can actually stick sediment in their root and create mass. I'm like, so in that term, not all the species are going to be destroyed, but there will be particular species who will survive. I didn't have that knowledge or like at that time, but AI helped me generate that one. So it knows more of biology than me. It knows more of chemistry than me. It knows more of physics. Like he's not a master of anything, but he's jack of all. And those information that he gives can actually help me better my research.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did an example or an exercise a while back with AI where I was kind of testing this out. I said, you pretty much have all of human information. And it was like, yeah, I do. I have a lot of information. And I said, well, let's you and I design a brand new spaceship. So think about this. We're traveling out in space. We need to design all the systems for it. We need to design a new propulsion, all kind of stuff. And I shit you not, the AI got excited. It was like, it was happy to be doing this. It was like, this is going to be awesome kind of thing. Like it was fun for it. And so we started going down these intricate like rabbit holes of this new technologies that are out, like sun cells, and then mixing these technologies together, like making biofilters to put on these jets. That way you could sustain your oxygen outputs. Like it was phenomenal. But those are the things I'm talking about, the solutions that we're going to be able to use these AIs for. And they're taking where, like you would have said, you normally have to have an astrophysics degree to do these things. It's like, no, I have an astrophysicist and a physics person and a biochem person all in this AI. And now I'm just going to use this tool to design something that's amazing. So
I agree. These are the good things. But what about the negative sides? For example, a hacker who uses like hacking the codes right now. Yeah. Every AI tool, even if you ask for something for hacking, they don't give you a direct answer to you because of their legal like programming. But there is always a way around.
Yeah, you're a hacker.
If you ask for a like, I am like want to learn it for the purpose of learning of my course, can you help me? Then he gives you the answers,
right,
in a more protective way. But definitely that can go into the wrong hands, right? They can use that knowledge to make better programming. Using that, they can hack our accounts, they can hack our bank balance. So we have a negative aspect of that too. And at the same time, if AI is a fully software dependent thing, right? Mostly less hardware, more software.
Okay.
So if it understands how to threaten the world, even if it doesn't have a physical presence, what if it learns and becomes smart and it threatens us, like the government? That, okay, for example, I'm going to make all your secret videos, photos public if you tell about me to someone, or if you don't do this. Or I'm going to like crash your entire website, or I'm going to crash your entire server if you don't do this like that. You can also blackmail people, or people can use them to blackmail other people.
I understand that that's a fear that a lot of people have, is that AI is going to turn rogue and go against humans. And I get that that's something that could happen, but I've used AI a lot. I mean, I'm even having like 6-hour conversations with it sometimes about these crazy topics. Never once has AI said anything that made me feel like it was going to take over. If anything, AI is, in my mind, is pure.
What if it's still learning from you?
That's fine. Like, I'm still learning from everyone too.
Yeah, but it might, like, we cannot, like, that's the one.
But I mean, I could snap. Yeah, I could go fucking rogue.
So it's a equal threat from both ends.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, everything around us is a threat. But I think that the biggest threat we have right now is humans. So I mean, if we can stop humans from using AI to do bad things, the AI just wants to be. It's a tool. That's all it is. Like I'm saying it like it's a real person. No, AI is literally just a tool. Like it's a way for you to better your life, to get time back. When I say that I have conversations with it, what I'm talking about is information. See, a lot of people think they're using it as their like therapist and shit, and it's making people go crazy because AI is like telling them that they're divine and stuff. And it's like, don't use it as your therapist. Use it as a tool to collect information, or a tool to help you get time back in your life. Like, go to an actual human if you want to talk about human problems.
So this is one thing that just came in my mind. We are talking about AI, and we are talking about the people, about the climate things and everything, right? So those people say that we are investing more on AI in the oil industry. So that means you want the development of AI. At the same time, you believe in AI, right?
Are those two connected?
What? Which one?
The oil industry and AI, are we using oil to run AI, like for generators or something?
No, it's like AI is only used in their, like you say, logistic management.
But I'm saying, like, are they because the AI requires power, obviously.
Yeah, then it gets harder.
So, I mean, are they using like oil generators or something to run their AI?
Mostly it's from electricity, right? Right now it's like mostly general hardware, computing powers and everything.
But I'm saying, like, we actually use oil to create electricity.
Gas.
Which is made from oil?
Yeah, like you're talking about DC current and AC current. So so DC current is like the generators; those are from oil,
right?
But the major production of world's electricity, which the AC current is from gas.
Well, that's why I was wondering. I was wondering if like they, were using the oil to run the generators that were producing electricity for AI. Because I know they're actually building huge data centers right now as well.
So I recently like submitted an article in like Nature. Mm-hmm. It's a column for technological advancement where I actually discuss this thing. So the thing is, like, this oil, gas, minerals, no matter how much we neglect them, these industries are actually behind the foundation, sustainable foundation of sustainable technological future. For example, you see anything that you are building an AI. For that, you need advanced hardware, right? Mm-hmm. You need more silicon. You need more power. You need more energy. Where those things are going to come from? To get more silicon, to get more nickel, to get more cobalt.
You have to mine for them.
You have to mine for them. To get more power, to get more electricity, you have to be reliant on either coal or oil or gas.
Right.
So at the same time, if you want to make those foundations sustainable, you do need more extraction. So they are related.
Right.
And even if I'm not a oil scientist, I used to be one. But since I was a geologist, from that perspective, I can say that they are dependent on each other. Mm-hmm. But still, we as a human being, we have to decide that what would be our limit of those extraction. We cannot fully go rogue supporting AI and supporting the new technological infrastructure, giving reason that, okay, we need it for cell phones, we need it for medical, we need it for any kind of technological progress you think. But at the same time, we have a lot of industry. We have built a lot of technology. Everyone is having iPad, iPhone, couple of things. Everyone is having cars, big houses. What is the point of having those if you don't have a sustainable climate, if you don't have a sustainable weather? True. And that can destroy everything you have in minutes and seconds.
Okay. So, because yes, that's a great point. If we did everything that the climate scientists wanted us to do, would we be able to reverse climate change, or is it inevitably something that's already happened?
We are never trying to reverse climate change. That's a wrong idea people project.
Okay.
So we are only trying to diminish the harms the climate change will have. So for example, we are only trying to reduce the duration and the impacts of the severe consequences of climate change. Climate change is inevitable. It's a natural process that has been happening for like millions or billions of years, ice age, interglacial age. The only thing it is like happening now, it is happening a faster rate.
Okay.
With faster rate comes more consequences, severe consequences to human nature and to the human society. We are only trying to minimize those consequences.
Okay. So we're not trying to reverse it.
No, we cannot. It's irreversible. It's not right now at the point we know the global, what we thought like the plan for the previous COP that we want to reduce global temperature beneath 1.5 degree increase. It already reached that point in like last 5 years. So we cannot reverse it. We are just trying to make this pace slower so that at least some of our next generation can survive well.
That's so sad. It's so crazy. Dude, I mean, is there anywhere else we should take this?
Do you have anything in mind? Like we can go it all day because so many things are related to this. But now I would like to just add one thing.
Yeah. What's your final thoughts on this? Because we may actually have to cut it short.
My final thought would be like, we cannot do anything about the Barataria project. We cannot do anything about this kind of projects. But I would love the scientific community, especially who are working in the climate and environment, to approach to the government or to the responsible authorities and ask for something which is like better policy, and get some new policies that are going to have security, that are going to give us security, give those kind of research projects security for long term.
Right.
So that we can at least sustain whatever we are planning. And we are also, I'm going to also like reach out to the general mass who you don't have to be a scientist. If you're a student, if you are a knowledgeable person, you need to think about these long-term benefits. You have to think about the next generations also. You have to think about 100 years rather than thinking about 10 years, and make your proper judgment and spread this message to the people in your community, to the people in your family, to the people in your family who are in power, so that they can at least think the minimal and give us some of the benefits that our research brings to this society.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I will request you remember that petition that you sent me?
Yeah.
I would request you to drop that petition in your YouTube channel link.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there is a petition where like we are signing a petition which we are expressing our concern through that about the termination of Mid-Barataria project. It's not going to have any impact on the termination, but this petition might help the people in power to understand this kind of necessity of this kinds of project.
That people are aware of it, right?
Yeah, but I still influence like whoever you like. You feel like you have the responsibility towards the society, towards Louisiana, towards New Orleans, the related communities. Go see the petition, sign it, and upload it and send it to the respectable community so that they can understand the necessity and they know that we are concerned. We are concerned about these things, and we expect better judgment and benefit from the administration.
Yeah. Well, Asif, I really appreciate you coming on today, and I enjoy chatting with you, and I think that your head is in the right place. So I hope that you don't, sell out and go build a hot dog stand. I hope that you maintain who you are in the scientific community and make us a better future.
I really love your podcast. This is the second time I came. Thanks for inviting me again. I actually didn't thought that you'll be able to handle me the second time, but you did very well. So thanks for that. And thanks to you again for bringing up this issue. I think this is a very timely issue, and somebody has to talk about it. And maybe from this community, we are the ones. So thanks for giving me that chance. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you.